Hi, this is David Welker, your local weather and traffic reporter. It's currently, 10:22. We do have some slight precipitation that's coming down. It is in the form of liquid moisture. Right now, it does not appear to be any slickness upon the road surfaces. However, I do expect that some of these roads have probably been pre-treated with a solution, with a brine solution, so that when the moisture does come in contact with that surface, what it does, in effect, changes the freezing temperature of that moisture, so that it does have to get a little colder for it to actually freeze. You do have the variability too of surface temperature and air temperature, and not able to right now determine what the surface temperature is of the pavement. Can't really take that into effect. It does look like, since I've been traveling, the temperature has dropped a degree. That is important to note, because any drop in temperature will increase the likelihood of some freezing on the surface of the roadways. What is interesting is usually my automobile is programmed such that it will give me a warning saying that the possibility of freezing moisture on the road is a possibility. Interesting enough, I did not get that warning when I was driving. I am now going across a bridge. It does make me a little nervous. As most people do know, the surface of the road can be a little cooler on a bridge, because you do not have the large heat sink of Mother Earth keeping that temperature from dropping as much. Not dropping as much. So that road surface that's over a bridge does not have that large heat sink, and you can get that temperature to drop a little quicker, and you can get the freezing on those bridges a little more quickly than the roads that are over normal ground. There is quite a bit of traffic out here. I'm not sure why. There's been quite a bit of warning the past few days that this weather event was going to occur. I don't think there was any doubt that there would be some freezing rain occurring in this area of the United States. Granted, the amounts of ice accumulation has been in dispute, and I think that all depends on which models, mathematical models, the different weather experts have been using in their forecasting. I will say, though, there is quite a bit of traffic, and maybe there's a lot of live weather streamers just like me, doing their best to keep the citizens of Tippecanoe County, aware of the current conditions. So very likely it could be all these people streaming the weather conditions at the same time. I do notice that even though it is 10:30 in the morning, it has been daylight for quite some time. Oh, and this is a very long bridge. Very, very treacherous. I got to be very extra careful not to run into anything. I do have a weather spotter that must be in a hurry getting to a specific location to report on, who just passed me on the left. And I will say that my heart goes out to this person, because obviously he has a very important destination that he needs to get to report on. As I was saying, after or before I hit that long treacherous bridge. It is 10:30 in the morning. It has been daylight for quite some time, and I do notice there are a lot of vehicles with their lights on. That would be an indication that there probably is some reduced visibility within this storm, and I would suggest, because of this reduced visibility, that you do go with your lights on. Now, I do see a vehicle passing us on the left that does not have their lights on. They may be running some infrared or what you commonly call night vision goggles to help them with their maneuverability through this limited vision. Unfortunately, what does not help is the other vehicles, such as me, who is not blessed to have those type of tools and equipment in their vehicle. So he may be able to see us. Unfortunately, we cannot necessarily see him as well. So I would recommend that if you're on the roads, that you do turn on your headlights, regardless of what thermal, infrared, or night vision tools you may have with you. Now, I have hit my first stoplight here. I am starting to decelerate rather quicker than I normally would. I still do not have any sliding. Let me hit the brakes really hard here. Yeah, no sliding at all. I will accelerate rather quickly. Yeah, no sliding of the wheels over the surface of the roadway. I do feel that the coefficient of friction is quite high, and it does not seem like the coefficient of friction has dropped to the point where I could easily lose static friction contact between the rubber in my tires and the concrete surface. I will mention that the concrete surface that I am driving on right now appears to be grooved. I think this is a new development in roadway technology. It does add to the vehicle noise within the cabin of your vehicle. However, I do believe that those grooves are highly engineered to do a couple of things. One, when you do have a high moisture event where you have a lot of rain suddenly, those grooves do help channel the water off the roadway quicker than a normal flat surface. It acts like really like a million little rivers to get all those little rivers to what I would consider the Mississippi Delta of the roadway, and that would be the valleys in the shoulder of the road. The second thing that those grooves would likely do, well, I know they do, and that is it's something called hydroplaning. It's a rather large word. It's been around for a while, but hydroplaning is when you can actually lose contact with the surface of the roadway by doing something called hydroplaning. And what that will tend to do is the water will slightly elevate the wheels from the roadway surface, such that you have a layer of water between the tires and the road surface, such that you really do not have any friction contact to help with any maneuverability of your vehicle. Those grooves that are within the roadway surface will help prevent such hydroplaning, whereas the large accumulation of water from a large downpour will actually go down into those grooves, and you will not have that larger accumulation of water where the wheels are actually contacting the surface. So that is a safety feature that has been added to some of the newer roadways, and it has probably saved numerous vehicles from being in accidents. Now, I am making a right turn on what I would consider a secondary road. Now, what I was on is a primary road, and that primary road usually has more attention paid to by our road crews that are out taking care of their road surfaces, adding chemicals to lower the freezing point. So the secondary roads, could possibly be a lot more treacherous because they do not see the frequency of the chemicals coming down on the surfaces, and likely not the amount of vehicle traffic that would help grind those chemicals into a powder form, allowing it to absorb and mix with the moisture to do their job. Now, I do have some hairpin curves here that I'm going on. Very, very dangerous, but it looks like I was able to use my expert driving skills to maneuver through those hairpin curves without any major issue. Looks like I do have another hairpin curve coming up here, and I may have moments where I need to stop talking so that I can provide extra concentration on the maneuverability around these hairpin curves due to the reduced driving conditions that we're experiencing. Looks like I've got a couple of weather spotters up here on the right who have really, at risk of their own peril, gotten out of their vehicles to look at the weather conditions, and it looks like they have determined that the paved areas are not acceptable to walk on, and therefore have chosen to walk on the grass area. They do look like an elderly couple, and there is a risk of bone fracture in the elderly, so they do take extra precautions, I'm sure, when they need to walk on slippery surfaces so they do not get injured. I am crossing a primary road here. Really no observable difference between the secondary road and the primary road. I do believe that, braking here, it looks like the temperature has dropped another degree. That is really adding to the danger of the situation, and I am growing concerned that I may be venturing a little too far away from the weather center, which I formerly call my dwelling. I would call this road that I'm on now probably a tertiary road. Yeah, that is a word we don't use very often. It does mean third in numerical order. Yes, definitely a tertiary road. If you noticed, my anti-locking brake feature did come on for a second there. That is indication that this surface is quite slick, very slick. So I will reduce my speed to probably about 10 miles an hour through this area. I am reaching my destination here, so I will upload this video here and jump back online once I go out for another review of the conditions. Thank you.